Welcome back to some more Umineko When They Cry. Oh man. So far last part, there's some more tracks getting unlocked. Especially this one. But yeah, there wasn't really anything special. Like both George and versus Gap and Jessica versus Ronald, it just shifted into a fucking shonen battle scene right there. And apparently, like, love strengthens them or something like that? I don't know, man. I guess we'll just go along and make it look like it's part of the truth, I guess. But, man, this is wild today, dude. Anyway, the underground passage in front of them was once again blocked by metal bars. The door was, of course, locked. Am I at the right one? Hold on. Let me, go through here. Yeah, I was right. Okay, so it was locked, okay. However, that was no problem for them now.
Kanon, また鉄格子だ。頼む。
はい、旦那様。しかしすごいわ。一体どういう原理なのかしら。
I wonder about that too.
原理なぞ興味ないね。大事なのは彼に鉄格子が切断できてここから脱出できることだけだ。
It's like, listen, I don't care about what he does. All we want is get the fuck out. Is what he said.
気にするな、カノン。やれ。
お任せよ。
Kanon sliced metal bars, again with his red curved blade. But there was a harsh, strange noise, and the metal bars only had a slight scratch.
なんと、これは頑丈な。
Oh wow. What? So you mean to tell me the dungeon cell was just part of a joke? But this one is actually like they fortified it or some shit?
違う。エンチャントされてる。ワルギリア様の魔法城だ。
Well, it's not because not because another gate is sturdy. No, it's someone sure puts a bit of a barrier there.
切断できる？
もちろん。でも時間をかけるよ。
3分間待ってやる。
After taking a deep breath and concentrating his mind, Kanon extended a red curved sword again. When he pressed it hard against the metal bars, sparks sprayed, almost as though he was melting through it with a burner.
切断はできそうだが、手こずりそうだな。
旦那様、敵に捕捉されました。下がってください。
The enemy.
え？
She's like,
追っ
what?
て。誰も来てないわよ。
私の後ろに下がってください。狙われてます。45、データ治療。標的は捕捉。地形誤差修正。射撃曲線形成。制御点補正完了。410、データリンク。410、データ受領。危険区域確認。問題なし。
WO 師団装填48発個別誘導 F&F
Yep, we're definitely getting sniped.
収束誘導弾準備完了。
45、射撃準備完了。収束誘導弾装填。410、にひひひ。射撃。
A golden arrow that sparkled gold was fired, leaving a gold tail streaming behind. It drew a curve, went through the door, through the keyhole, down the stairs, towards the underground path at full speed.
何か光りましたぞ。
黄金の矢はシールドで防げない。カノン君、迎撃態勢。リンクしよ
ゲートキーパー了解。姉さんと一緒に戦うのは久しぶりだ。動じらないでよ。
う。本気でやる。
なら問題ない。
Canon stopped cutting the bars and stood in front of Shannon. Behind him, Shannon closed her eyes, concentrating her mind deep into the darkness of the underground path. A guided cluster round is a special kind of arrow made up of 48 sub-rounds bound together. It explodes mid-flight and divides into 48 mini arrows. The strength of each individual one is low, but they pierce through all shields and possess a perfect wounding and killing power against personnel. And on top of that, each one of the 48 possesses autonomous guidance towards their individual targets.
光った。分裂した。
収束誘導弾、分裂確認。師団46、7、8、48、全弾捕捉。迎撃完成。カノンへデータリンク。
カノンデータ受領。姉さんの能力はすごいな。48発全部見える。
Impressive. And here I thought Shannon's only ability is just, I don't know, being a barrier or something. I don't know.
迎撃優先順位に注意。姉さんを信じて。
もちろんさ。僕は目を開ける必要さえない。
迎撃開始。
はあ。
目標健在。迎撃されました。にひゃー。48発全部。
シャノンとカノンはもともと一組の家具ですからね。揃うと手強いこと。あいたたた。これ口内炎になっちゃうかしら。
Damn. You sure? She's. Yeah, that last part. It's pretty hysterical.
落ち着け。再装填。弾種を変更。精密高速狙撃弾。精密狙撃戦準備。
そりゃいいね。追撃不能の超高速弾。ゲートキーパーごときじゃ防御不能だに。精密狙撃戦了解。精密射撃用データ収集開始。
一体今のは何なんだ。
Let's just say we're getting sniped.
安心して。私にもさっぱりよ。一つわかるのは二人に頼らなきゃ死んでたってことね。
カノン君、ありがとう。鉄格子に戻って。多分次のは迎撃できない弾が来る。
そんな攻撃をどう防ぐんだ。
撃たせません。カノン君、霊視線防備。
At those words, Canon closed his eyes tightly and ground his teeth. With Shannon at the center, a pressure and impact that only non-humans could perceive struck. Oh.
あれ、射撃システムエラー。ダメだ、再起動。あれあ
霊波妨害、霊視防護、急げ。何をしてるか、早く耳を塞げ。45。
An unseen, unheard impact had struck the Chiester sisters. 00 and 410 crashed down, covering their ears, but 45 didn't make it in time. As she stood bolt upright, her eyes rolled.
キューキューキューキューキュー。
Well,
45損傷。コンパイラのエンジンがいっちゃったよ。きゃー、私もノイズがひどいに。
45、410、そして00損傷。
damaged.
狙撃戦を断念。リンクでもろに来た。
That's so funny. Look at Chiester sisters went into a malfunction.
再起動しないと。
Raising their spirit particle sensitivity for precision sniping had backfired. They had taken the full brunt of the spirit particle shockwave Shannon had released. And not only 45, who had been hit directly, but also 00 and 410, who had been linked with her, were taken down.
大丈夫ですか？後でまた美味しい紅茶を入れてあげますからね。しっかり。申し訳ございませんであります。再起動をかけます。数百秒ほどお待ちを。
That's gonna be a bit of a while. All of the Chiester sisters had fallen over. They would probably get back up eventually, but it looked like it would be hard for them to return to the battle lines for a while. They got straight up jammed. Even the pink-haired one got hit with the system errors so hard that she had to make that it made her speech pattern, rabbit noises on it for a while.
家具は武具を一時的にとはいえ退けますか。なるほど。あの子の面白がる筋書きは実に大番狂わせが多いこと。
That's a little bit creepy. Virgilia tore the air with a large gesture, motioning as though opening a door.
さあさあおいでなさい、ヤギの従者たち。お仕事の時間ですよ。脱走者たちを殺して捕らえなさい。死体でいいのですよ。どうせ蘇生できるし。
Oh boy. A gold-colored door opened in the air, and countless giant goats with muscular bodies peeked their faces out.
さあさあ急ぎなさい。脱走者は5人いるから5等賞までの早い者勝ち。素敵なご褒美がありますよ。さあさあ頑張って頑張って。
Gambatte. Virgilia clapped her hands, urging them on. A prize. After facing each other at those words, the goats all rushed at the door at once, trying to get out. The fucking goats got an exclamation mark on their heads, like, huh? They get to win something, and they're it's like the most generic like part right there. Rush to the door at once, trying to get out, making the exit as packed as the Tozai or the Yamanote rail lines in the morning. Each wanted to get out first, so none of them could get out. Virgilia held her head in frustration. Well, Virgilia, this is what happens when you say all of you. This is what happens when you tell them what to do. Oh, boy. Are we at the, yeah. By that time, Kanon had managed to cut through enough bars to make a crack that could be slipped through. It had been a bit of work for Krauss, large as he was and non-joke, with his lethal waist. But even so, they all managed to make it through. But after they did, they only had a couple seconds to be relieved. Immediately, another set of metal bars blocked the way in front of them.
厳重ね。よっぽどここの人を逃がしたくなかったんでしょうね。
カノン、すまんがもう一度頼む。辛いだろうが頼む。
There was sweat on Kanon's forehead. You could tell at a glance that cutting the metal bars, which had been made even more solid by magic, had physically exhausted him.
はい、お任せを、旦那様。
お前にしかできん。どうか頼む。
Only he could do it. Holding tightly onto those words, Kanon concentrated his mind once again and set himself to the task of cutting metal bars again.
後方、敵が来ます。複数。
ええ、今度は私たちにもわかるわ。すごい地響きね。とんでもない化け物が殺到してくるのがわかるわ。
Yep.
ご安心を。今抜けた鉄格子を私が魔法杖で封鎖します。ヤギたちごときには破れません。
You sure about that? Shannon held her hand out towards the metal bars they had gone through, but she stopped right away.
どうかしましたか？
バルギリア様が霊波妨害の中和を開始。破られるとまずい。シエスタ姉妹の再起動後のイニシアチブを奪われます。
かわいいウサギたちをいじめてくれたお返しはたっぷりとさせていただきますよ。この小賢しい霊視で優位に立とうというなら、それを丸ごと剥ぎ取って私が奪ってあげます。
姉さんは霊波妨害に集中して。あのヤギたちにその鉄格子の隙間は狭すぎる。しばらくは食い止めてくれるはず。
何を言っているかさっぱりだもん。
だいぶヤバいってことだけは理解できたわ。
Kyrie picked up a metal bar that Kanon had just cut. Krauss had no weapon, but he rubbed his fists, and the two of them glared into the depths of the underground passage where the shaking was coming from.
この鉄格子で遮るものはおしまいのはずだ。ここから屋敷までどのくらいあるんです？かなり歩く。道は平坦だが30分は歩いた記憶が。
全力疾走ならその半分ってことだわ。
Probably. That is if you have the freaking stamina. They couldn't tell for sure, since they didn't have the three-sided mirror, But there was no guarantee that George and Jessica would still be alright against demon opponents after all this time.
歩く2倍の速度で走れば15分。さらにその2倍で走れば8分を切るわ。
さらにその倍の全力疾走なら5分かからん。問題ない。
むちゃくちゃな計算ですが。ですがカジマの計算式はそういうものです。
申し訳ございません、旦那様方。後を頼みます。
任せたまえ。カノンは1秒でも早く鉄合しろ。シャノンはワルギリアとかいう魔女への妨害に専念したまえ。追っては私とキリエさんで防ぐ。
Are you sure you can defend? Well, we'll see how that will turn out. I know last episode Kyrie was able to fight. I don't know about Krauss though. Then the roars of beasts hang out. The roars of beasts rang out from the darkness, and several fiery, glowing, bright red eyes appeared. Goats that were several levels more massive than the guards were rushing with. An incredible force. What an incredible force. He's right. The tremors they created were almost like an earthquake. They brought a frightening intensity of terror, but Kyrie actually laughed with relief. Those massive bodies wouldn't be able to go through the crack in the bars. The group of goats crashed into the metal bars with a fierce sound like that of a train colliding with a dead end. Clumps of dirt fell here and there from the ceiling, and you could tell that the metal bars had bent as if collapsing. Their charging power probably was on par with a train. If the metal bars hadn't been there, they would likely have overwhelmed the 5 of them and crushed them in an instant. When the group of goats pressing up against the metal bars noticed the 5 people right in front of them, they let out a terrible howl, trying to intimidate the 5. Or maybe that was out of pain from their game of push and shove. One calm goat among them figured out what should be done about the metal bars, then grabbed 2 of them with his massive arms and began bending them as though opening double doors. Kyrie sharply jabbed her metal pole at that goat's vitals. The goat let out a roar of anguish. It probably hurt a lot, but that was all. It wasn't enough to bring it down.
Krauss!
Still holding the metal pole she had stuck out, Kyrie relinquished the opposite tip to Krauss. Krauss ran there with all his might, jumped up and kicked down with all his weight and kicking power combined. All of that destructive power was focused on a single pole, drilling it in.
大丈夫ですかな。幹部は揉まないように。お薬は後で処方しましょう。お大事に。
What the fuck are you saying? Is this some kind of... Well, why is the family doctor, like, dissing? Is this some kind of... just sneaking in a diss? I didn't even know anymore. Are you okay? Don't rub the affected air. I'll give you some medicine later. You know, have a nice day. As the goat, who'd taken a pile bunker to his vitals with teary eyes, it nodded his head.
私たちのリンクも結構いけるじゃない。シャノンちゃんたちには負けられないわ。
当然じゃないか。私たちは仲良し一族だからね。
2人がかりでならいけるわ。次、右側のあいつ。
了解だ。いい嫁さんじゃないか。ルドルフめ、少し愚痴が多かったんじゃないか。
Debatable. Kyrie is a bit shady in my opinion. You see.
へえ、後で聞かせてもらうわ。ルドルフさん、天国で青くなっても手遅れよ。
The goats' massive bodies were buried in rose bushes, even taking into account that a leg's power is 3 times that of an arm's. This strength surpassed common sense. To think that those massive bodies had been kicked in the chin and flown through the air, it was too fierce. Even George seemed a little surprised.
僕の蹴りが化け物にも通用したとはね。驚きだよ。
あんたの反撃特化結界のせいよ。ブレイズした攻撃力をそのまま自らに上乗せしてる。あんたの蹴りにはその化け物どもの怪力が加算されてるのよ。
へえ、よくわからないけど僕にぴったりじゃないか。誰であろうとも攻撃してくるなら等しい反撃を覚悟してもらう。専守防衛、僕のポリシーそのものだ。
That's why Gap couldn't easily touch him. The counterattack style barrier had no defensive power. However, because of its countering ability, it could be useful in defense by making the opponent hesitate to attack. The goats had been foolish, and so had attacked without worrying. But this second effect had worked in full against Gap.
こいつらは単調だね。パワーが互角であるならば小柄な方が有利だ。
The same sound of siren. The blaring siren sounds like the same one from Higurashi. He lightly dodged the log-like arms. When those arms touched the barrier that protected George, they let off a strong red light. The tip of the counter-attacking foot would then gain the same sparkle, and the superhuman power of the goat added to its own. The second goat fell forward and floated in the air for a second. Then, George's next roundhouse kick missed right over the falling goat's head. For an instant, the goat hoped it might get away with its life. But no, a heel was dropped onto the back of its head, and it was forced to kiss the ground.
上段回し蹴りからの練りチャギは基本だろ。たまにやると結構当たるよ。
こいつ厄介だわ。マジで厄介だわ。
何が悪魔だ、何が魔女だ。六軒島の主人はこの後ろ宮家だよ。それを体で教えてやるよ。
こいつ。
The only way to finish off George, now that his body was wrapped up in the counterattack style barrier, was to deny him a chance to counterattack. Nothing to do but suck him into an abyss first, then kick and drop him. Kick and drop him. Kick and drop him. Until she kicked him to death. But George had already completely seen through the faint warning signs that told of the appearance of Gap's pitfalls. If he could jump over that next pitfall, then this time he would probably pulverize Gap's head with his whirlwind-like kick, without holding back in the slightest. Just as had been done to his parents. She was able to envision that scene vividly. Gap hated Kinzo more than ever for calling her out to this ridiculous island. Even though Ronove held out a shield, he had finally started using his hands. Without a more powerful shield, you wouldn't be able to block Jessica's fists anymore. The enchantment on Jessica's fists grew the more she fought. The pre-meeting upgrade had already grown several times, and those fists had also been given an impact upgrade, a piercing upgrade, and a speed upgrade, making them fists worthy to fight on par with the demon.
どうしたよ。へばってきたんじゃねえのかよ。動きが鈍ってきてるぜ。
いいえ、ジェシカ様の動きと思考、動体視力が飛躍的にエンチャントされているのです。私の動きは最初から変わっていませんよ。あなたの動きが私を捉えつつあるのです。
それでも反撃はしねえわけか。
これが私のこだわりですので。しかしこのままというわけにもいきますまい。そろそろ本気で終わりにさせてもらいますよ。
Ronove's face turned into an expression he hadn't shown before. It was full of respect for Jessica in a truly demonic way. Because it was an expression he only showed for enemies, it made him get serious. Oh.
なんだこれ。
It was a gesture of his whole body that you couldn't call elegant. Ronove held out a shield with all of his strength, a shield the size and thickness of a wall. It was more tenacious than a simple shield. It literally was a wall, and on top of that, with all of Ronove's magical power, it pushed Jessica back bit by bit. Did he plan on pushing her back against the wall and crushing her to death? Jessica tried to break through the wall with both fists, but it was solid. Without any exaggeration, it was solid.
これがお前の本気かよ。上等だぜ。打ち砕いてやら
ー。今度はそうはさせませんよ。この壁は一味違います。どれ、私もエンチャントさせていただきましょう。
When oh god. When Ronove made his magic sign, almost like a ninja, the wall glowed red for just an instant, and some kind of ominous power dwelt within it. Jessica was able to recognize that almost immediately with her body. Every time her fists hit the wall, pain as though glass fragments had scattered and hit all over her body, rebounded against her.
攻撃反応装甲を付与させていただきました。ジェシカ様の攻撃を相殺することで威力を減退させ、のみならず反応破片で反撃までできる優れものです。殴り続けるのは大いに結構ですが、それは自らにも及びますよ。
What? So you just put like a bunch of thorns in your shield? Reflect.
つまりお前の壁と私の我慢比べってことかよ。上等だ。
ジェシカ様が膝をつくのが先か、壁に押し込まれるのが先か。見物させていただきましょう。
打ち破ってこの壁ごとお前の横っ面をぶっ飛ばす方が先かもな。見てやがれ
Without hesitation, Jessica punched using both fists. Each time she did, a large amount of shards scattered, torturing her entire body. Instantly, several red gashes appeared all over her. She grimaced at the intense agony, but her eyes were burning with fighting spirit, and her lips curved in a grin that stood in sharp contrast to the pain.
カノン、まだかね。私たちは平気だが、奴らを防ぐ鉄格子が平気ではなさそうだ。
もう少しです。
こいつらキリがないわ。おしくらまんじゅうだけで鉄格子を破りかねない。
The group of goats made the metal bars creak. Several arms grabbed the bars, twisting them with superhuman strength. However, some bars were being pulled in opposite directions by different hands. Apparently, they really were stupid. The way those countless hands grabbed the metal bars sometimes happened to match up by chance. Several hands grasping two metal bars neatly put their power together and pulled the bars to the left and right. The incredible sound of metal bending could be heard. That crack was getting larger bit by bit. They attacked the arms of those goats one by one, but they weren't getting anywhere. They couldn't stop the gap from spreading left and right. At that time, there was a loud metal sound behind them. Canon had finally finished cutting.
早く。
キリエさん、レディーファーストだ。南條先生も続いて。
旦那様、ここは僕に任せてください。これは。
Canon's red sword that had cut the metal bars disappeared.
ごめん。バルギリア様の霊視線影響下に入った。私たちの魔力が中和されてる。
Purgatory Catastrophe Rhapsody.
よくも大魔女と呼ばれた私にここまで抗ったものです。もはやその地下道ではあなたたちの魔法は使えませんよ。
Well, this is unfortunate. We put an anti-magic barrier made by her. A magic circle column drew a complex magical formula with Virgilia at the center. With such genuine magic being used, Shannon's power couldn't even compete. On the contrary, it was surprising that she had withstood as long as she had.
霊視優勢を確保。さあ、シエスタ姉妹、今度こそあなたたちの出番ですよ。ってまだ再起動してるんですか？なんで最近の子は寝起きが悪いの
？Well.
申し訳ありませんであります。私たち全員バージョンが違ってて。
Wow. Even though it's like a bit repaired, now you're still malfunctioning. You're still malfunctioning.
なんでバージョン変わるたびにショートカットとプルダウンがしっちゃかめっちゃかになるに。 前回不正な終了がありました？管理者権限？
Administrative privileges?
何これ、わけわかんない。
I wonder if there's a lot of I wonder if there's a lot of PC memes involving her.
早く直して。
In translation. What a meme.
この得体トラブルシュートにコール。何？ユーザーコードがないと教えない？
ユーザーコードは45が管理してるに。
I don't even know what that means, but sure.
9999にしか聞こえん。
All I can hear is 9999 QQQQ.
紙に書かせろ。
Why didn't you just do that earlier?
言語支援システム再起動できてないから文字も書けないに。
She has no words.
お前たちはゆっくり修理していなさい。私が行ってきます。
ごめんなさい。
The narrow underground passage was packed with goats, truly like a commuter train in the morning. Virgilia was again shocked by this congestion.
何をやってるんですか？え？ご褒美が欲しいから一番乗りがしたい。
Well, that's what you just said.
他のヤギにご褒美を奪われたくないから邪魔をし合っている。
You literally just said that out loud. Can we just go back to the part where you just said? Do I have to go back to the part of where you just said? I mean, again, I have to scroll all the way up, but still.
このおバカヤギたちが！私が行きますから道を開けなさい。
She's like, get the fuck out of my way. I'll handle it myself. Fucking idiots.
何？嫌ですって？ワルギリア様がご褒美を奪うつもりだ？
This is some goofy shit.
なんでスクラム組んでるんですか？きつい狭い。いつからここはヤギ専用車両に？うぎゅー。今お尻触った子、次の駅で降りなさい。何あなた、こっちへ来いって。
The five in Krauss's group dashed through the passageway with all their strength. They couldn't dawdle around in an underground place like this. They had to quickly join up with the children on the surface. If they could meet up, there would no longer be any more sorrow. At that time, a terrible rumble started chasing them. Had their pursuers finally made it through the metal bars? But they couldn't see anyone when they turned around. However, that rumble and the dirt that fell here and there from the ceiling grew closer and closer, finally catching up with them and even going past them. It felt almost like being chased by ghosts. For a second, they thought they'd gotten away until the ceiling in front of them fell in, and a single goat stood in their path. Virgilia was sitting on its shoulder.
賢い子が近道を知っていました。
Well, I can't believe, out of all the goats, this goat had to be the smart one. Shocker.
偉い子ですね。一等賞ですよ。後で手作りのサバのカレー煮をご馳走してあげますよ。
Well, the one who led Virgilia sure is goated. I'm sorry. Maybe it really was happy about that dubious prize. The massive goat showed its joy by putting its hands together in rhythm. Well, I feel a little bit creeped out. Virgilia leapt down, laughing that this time it was finally checkmate.
くそ、ダメだ。魔力が完全に殺されてる。
まだよ。魔法がなくても私たちにはまだこの体がある。
無茶だ。あんな化け物にあの不思議な力がなくて戦えるわけがない。
子供たちは下がっていたまえ。私が何とかするから、その隙にあの化け物の両脇を駆け抜けるんだ。
Man, this track is a banger.
させませんよ。
When Virgilia clapped her hands, a purple magic circle wall appeared behind her, stealing even the faint hope that Krauss had been betting on.
万事休すか。いや、まだだ。ジェシカも戦った。私が戦わんわけにはいかん。
本気なの？無理よ、あんな巨大な化け物に。
むちゃくちゃだ。クラウスさん、他の方法を考えましょ
う。思いついたら提案してくれたまえ。それまでは私が何とかするしかないようだ。さあ、下がりたまえ。
気をつけて。おやおや、クラウス。あなた一人でこの子と戦うつもりですか？
わからんぞ。戦いにはまぐれあたりの一発だってあり得る。
まぐれでも勝てるつもりとお思いですか？身の程知らずのあなたのために私が状況を整理して差し上げましょう。
何？
Huh?
あなたが 100% の力を発揮したとして、あなたの戦闘力はせいぜい6。対してこの子の戦闘力は1000。つまりあなたが100人束になっても絶対に勝てないということです。
What is this number counter? That's new.
まあ確かに戦いには不確定要素もあります。その戦闘力に多少の倍率がかかることも認めましょう。しかしそれでもあなたがこの子を倒せる確率は 0.00001% というところでしょうか。
That's a very minuscule chance.
お分かりかしら。あなたには万に一つの勝ち目もないということです。
Wait, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, this is literally 3 times she mentioned that you have. This is like 3 times she said that you have no chance. Virgilia and the goat guffawed together.
くそ。万一ということは配当は1万倍ということではないかね。いい大穴だ。そういう馬券は好きだよ。買いたくなる。
それを買うコインはあなたの命1枚しかありませんよ。しかしそれでもその奇跡に運命を託したいというあなたの気持ちよくわかります。ですので恐れずに立ち向かうあなたの勇気をたたえ一つハンデを差し上げましょう。
Handicap?
この子は左腕一本で戦います。
Only his left arm.
まあそれでもあなたに負ける気は全くしませんが。
Why am I... Wait. So there's a counter to... Why did the... What's with the little ping there? I guess there's a little bit of it. I feel like my guess is that anytime the number goes up, it's just, you know... I guess the number adds up to a chance. I don't know.
それにしても何かしらさっきからピンポンピンポンと。
I'm just thinking, what's that bing bong noise I keep hearing? Yeah, that's a good question. Why is it there?
よかろう。その勝負受けて立ってやる。
Maybe the counter is how many times you're gonna be this cliche. I don't know.
左腕だろうとなんだろうと、どうせ私は一撃で殺されるだろう。私のチャンスもまた一撃しかないのだ。それに全てかけるしかあるまい。
むちゃくちゃだ、クラウスさん。あんたがボクシングをやってたことは知っているが、それでも大学時代のはず。いやいや、仮にプロのボクサーがいたとしても、あんな化け物一撃で倒せるはずもない。
I mean, just because he used to do boxing doesn't mean he forgot on how it works. You know?
リングの上での試合なら確かにね。でもクラウス兄さんが望みをかけるチャンスがわずかだけどあるわ。彼はそれに全て望みをかけている。
まさか。しかしそんなのもうまくいくわけがない。
旦那様。
見ていろ。一撃で決めてやる。
Ho 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 ho. How shallow. I know what you're after. The distance between the two of them is more than 10 meters. If the goat and Krauss both step in with all their strength to settle the fight with a single blow, their power will be double what is normal. Both will crash together, so it's a relative 4 times normal. Even if on top of that, the strike lands on a weak point for a critical hit that will only double the power again. In short, Krauss's maximum power level of 6 times 8 would be 48 at the most. He might or might not be able to win if he repeated that lucky shot a full 20 times. Oh ho 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 ho. If you're killed every time you take a hit, and your damage still accumulates. Let's see. Perhaps you might finally win when we get to episode 24, yes? Episode 24? Why does it sound like it's from a... What the fuck do you mean by episode 24? Is episode 24 means like the Umineko anime episode? I don't even recall. Yes? Ho 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 ho. If only this series could stretch on so long. Either way, you don't even have a slight chance of victory. And then the bing bong. Hey, seriously, what is that bing bong sound?
私も一撃に全てをかけさせていただく。
Is this like the counter to every time you do like a cheesy villain dialogue or line or I don't know.
ヤギ君も遠慮することはない。本気で来たまえ。
全力を要望ですよ。本気の一撃で粉砕し、肉片に変えてやりなさいな。
As the goat got excited and beat his chest over and over, it took a position as though preparing for a sprint. Ho 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 ho. Is this what you wanted? Bet your hopes on the greatest limits of your power level and despair when even that gets you nowhere. It rang again. What the heck? It's really starting to get on my nerves. Despair even when that gets you nowhere. Getting on my nerves.
行くぞ。いいかね。
The goat howled in response. Then, with a matched timing that only the men confronting each other could comprehend, the two leapt forward like bullets shot out of a gun. The men howled, collecting the strength from all over their bodies into one arm each. The goat's fiery, glowing eyes clearly locked onto Krauss's face. He could perfectly see a vision of when he would step forwards, when he would punch through Krauss and blow him away, and when he would have been... Wow, it dinged again. Could perfectly see a vision of when he would step forwards, when he would punch through Krauss and blow him away, and when he would win perfectly. The long, painful days up to that point drifted through the goat's mind. Those painful days of training when his senpais had picked on him. I'm gonna be eaten. What the fuck is this? Those faint glimpses of the warm concern his senpais felt for him. Leave this to me and go on ahead, senpai. He's like, what the fuck? And the joy of that day his power had been acknowledged when he had been accepted as one of the comrades. One of the comrades. I'm flabbergasted. Oh no, I'm confused with this bullshit. As one of the comrades. I never showed proper respect to my parents. That's right. Didn't I plan to wash my hands of this business when this job was over and return to my hometown? I'm sorry, little goat sister. Your Oni-chan always caused me so much trouble. And I actually have a childhood friend, and I'm gonna marry her when I got home.
Yeah! 負けフラグ立てすぎちゃダメ
Loser flags?
そのパンチはダメよ避けて
I never seen Virgilia's voice would crack like that. It happened the instant before the two crashed and their punches crossed.
愚かね、ワルギリア。冷静な判断を欠いたようよ。
そのパンチを受けてはなりません。弾きなさい。
the very instant the goat's left straight and Krauss's right straight crossed. The goat obeyed Virgilia's order with super fast reflexes and pulled his straight back, repelling Krauss's punch. That's right, Virgilia's decision probably had been wise. After all, the number of loser flags amplifies the power level of one's opponent.
危ないところでした。
Wait, so you mean to tell me the Bing Bong is the counter of how many times it shows the loser part, the dialogue? Because this is so weird to me.
こんな負けフラグ立てまくりの状態で食らっていたら、どれほどの威力に倍率がかかっていたことか。さあ、そこでガラ空きの右側面に右ストレートを叩き込んでやりなさい。何？左腕一本で戦う約束？
Oh.
約束は破るためにあるのでしょうが！ぎゃー！また立ったー！
All our promises made to be broke. What the fuck is this? This is it reaches to do 20.
失望よ、ワルギリア。あなたはやはり冷静を欠いていたわ。
なんですって。直前に気づいて避けさせた私のどこが冷静でないと。
どうしてですか、キリエ様。あのまま激突していたら旦那様の勝ちだったのでは。
そうか。負けフラグの数が20でもまだ足りないんだ。
Wait, so that's what the counters for? Those are called loser flags? Holy shit. Krauss's and the goats double rush made for ×4. With a miracle as an ally, their firm promise of a critical hit doubled again for ×8. On top of that, there was an amplification of ×20, equal to the number of loser flags, making for ×160. At a glance, that was an incredible amplification, but even so, Krauss's power level was 6. Even multiplied by 160, it only made for a power level of 60, just barely below the goat's 1,000.
だから冷静じゃないと言ったのよ。あなた失敗したわ。そのまま激突していればあなたの勝ちだったのよ。たとえそうだったとしても、この右ストレートでクラウスの頭を砕けば同じこと。死ね、後ろ宮クラウス。
食らいたまえ、ボクシング界最強の一撃を。
After repelling Krauss's right straight, the goat's right straight attacked the right side of Krauss's face, which had been left open. But there, it crossed Krauss's left straight. The two punches crossed, and time stopped as each aimed for the face of the other.
まさかこのタイミングで相打ちに持ってくるとは。しかし戦闘力は160倍止まりで960。うちの子の1000には及びませんでしたよ。
いや、ワルギリアさん、あんたの負けだ。
どうして？
He's like, what?
あんた最初のクロスカウンターを弾かせちまった。確かにその次に繰り出した右ストレートが当たればクラウスさんは粉々にされていただろう。
Yeah, Krauss would have been blown into smithereens.
しかしそいつをクロスされてしまった。こりゃダメだ。悪いがあんたんとこのヤギさんの乾杯だよ。
A Krauss counter has 4 times the destructive power of a normal punch. This is common knowledge in the boxing world. And if it's blocked and the right straight hits, then it's a double Krauss counter with 8 times the destructive power. This is also common knowledge in the boxing world. And if that is crossed, then by the principle of leverage, the triple cross would multiply the destructive power by 12. This is also painfully common knowledge in the boxing world.
クラウスさんの戦闘力は6。
双方2倍の踏み込みで4倍。
クリティカルヒットで8倍。
負けフラグの立てすぎで160倍。
そしてトリプルクロスカウンターでさらに12倍。
1920倍。
Virgilia got one heck of a power level stun lock. His power level is 11,520. Krauss's punch now had the power to easily win the first 10 Kaiichi Budokai.
これは勝利を最後まで諦めなかったクラウスさんの執念とあんたの慢心が招いた結果だ。
What the fuck am I even reading? Is this some Dragon Ball Z? This is some Dragon Ball power level reference I'm processing here.
どちらが欠けてもこの威力にはならなかった。あんたよく戦ったよ。
Like imagine like how many loser flags are racked up. You'd be losing. Like God, this is embarrassing.
もう倒れてもいいんだぞ。
Nanjo clapped the goat on the shoulder. Your Oni-chan gave it his all. As the sparkling drops from the goat's eyes scattered, he bent backwards and fell on Virgilia.
重い。どきなさい。
The goat's massive body was too heavy for the slender Virgilia. She wriggled around with it on top of her, but it didn't look like she'd be able to escape. In that instant, the barrier Virgilia had sealed broke.
悪く思うな。テコの原理を侮ったのが君の敗因だ。
どうしてあのカウンターでテコの原理が働くのかしらね。永遠の謎だわ。
今のうちに逃げましょう。ヤギさんもお大事に。
それでは失礼します、バルギリア様。
ペコリ。
Well, it was fun while it lasted.
待ちなさい。これどけて。ガプガプガプガプガプガプ。
Well, it's nice to know that Virgilia has one heck of a weakness there. Man, I think this is good enough. All right, that is more than enough for this Shonen battle shenanigans. So next part, let's continue more of their escape. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys later. Have a good one.